Iran and Israel have declared a ceasefire. Both sides, in official statements, have claimed victory. 12 days of the intense strikes, hundreds killed, and, according to Donald Trump, a truce brokered through his personal intervention. Yet experts remain skeptical. Earlier, Kazakhstan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs warned that the sharp escalation in the Middle East poses direct risks to the security of states in our part of the world. What were the United States and Israel really trying to achieve? Is the conflict truly over? And what consequences could Central Asia and the global economy face if fighting breaks out again? All the answers in our next report. By stepping into the Iran-Israel conflict, the US president significantly raised the stakes, but appears to have influenced the preliminary outcome of what's now being called the 12-day war. To assert its position in the conflict, Iran launched strikes on US military bases in Qatar, but crucially gave prior warning to Washington. Today, all sides are claiming victory. Israel says it's eliminated the nuclear threat. Iran speaks of a successfully repelling aggression, and the United States frames its role as a peacekeeping mission.
The last thing they want to do is enrich anything right now. They want to recover. And we won't let that happen. Number one, militarily we won't. I think we'll end up having somewhat of a relationship with Iran. I see it. Look, I've had a relationship over the last 4 days. They agreed to the ceasefire. And it was a very equal agreement. They both said, that's enough. They both said it.
Ceasefires in the Middle East have historically proven fragile, as seen as in recent rounds of violence between Hamas and Israel. The current truce between Tehran and Tel Aviv is also viewed with caution by experts. While Iran has been weakened by recent airstrikes, its nuclear potential remains intact. The IAEA has acknowledged it does not know the whereabouts of significant stockpiles, around 400 kilograms of enriched uranium. Meanwhile, US intelligence says the damage to Iran's nuclear infrastructure may be far less severe than the White House has suggested, estimating that the country's program has likely only been delayed by a few months.
So if there is a sort of peace treaty and the IAEA go back in and start reassessing, the first thing they'll want to see is where's the 400 kg? You know, is it actually still there, or has it been spirited away? You know, you'd imagine the Iranians say, "Oh, it was destroyed. You know, it's gone. We don't know where it is." But it'd be very difficult to trace where it's gone to.
This means the risk of a renewed and potentially even more intense outbreak of violence remains high. At the height of the 12-day conflict, Kazakhstan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement warning of the dangerous consequences for the security of Central Asian states. Experts agree. Instability in Iran could have direct repercussions across the region, from waves of refugees to disrupted trade and flight routes. Here's what military security expert Emin Jabarov had to say.
So first of all, we have to understand that Iran is 90 million population country. It's not Iraq, it's not Syria, and it's very multi-ethnical one. And you know, any escalation, any civil war in Iran would cause the refugees wave to Central Asia countries. And if we talk about Turkmens in Iran, it's up to 5 million. Imagine that there is a Turkmenistan's population is 6 million, and there's a 5 million Turkmens inside Iran province Golistan, which had the border with Turkmenistan, and that huge wave could be not only the burden for the social budget, but could trigger social unrest and other problems.
One of the biggest risks lies in the fate of the Strait of Hormuz. It's a narrow maritime passage through which 1/5 of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas flows. Any attempt by Tehran to block the strait, even at the cost of its own economy, could trigger a global energy shock, sending oil prices soaring toward $90 a barrel, disrupting supply chains and fueling inflation, especially in Europe and China. Although Iran's parliament has already voted in favor of blockade, concrete actions has so far been delayed thanks to a ceasefire. But in a region where threats of force increasingly drown out diplomacy, it may take just one misstep for this vital artery of the global economy to come under threat. According to military security expert Emin Jabarov, Iran has the technological capacity to do just that.
It will significantly damage this export, the market of the oil, which will make the skyrocketing of the prices. You know, it will damage the economy of major countries, especially Western countries. And yes, it's very critical for world economy. And Iran understands that, and Iran would use that stance as a last resort, to defend itself.
A full closure of the Strait of Hormuz remains the most serious scenario for the global oil market under the current geopolitical conditions. And all parties involved, especially the United States and Iran, are well aware of this. For now, there is only hope that the conflict has indeed been contained. Over the course of 12 days of hostilities, 610 people were killed in Iran and 28 in Israel. The strikes caused extensive damage to infrastructure and left hundreds of families without homes. Tehran has said it is willing to uphold the ceasefire as long as the other side does the same. Meanwhile, the Israel Defense Forces have announced a strategic shift in focus, returning to another bloody and seemingly endless war, the one in Gaza. Daurian Isagulov, New Time.